Stand by. The program will begin soon.
There's an example yesterday I saw of this woman who's been here. I mean, we might even play this clip. She's been here 20 years. She has 3 kids who were born here. Her kids are because of birthright citizenship, which is another subject that's coming up. And she never bothered to even try to resolve her immigration status. Not in 20 years. She has never tried to resolve her immigration status. Not through Republican presidents, not through Democratic presidents, nothing. And so now, she's worried about being deported because they put out the sob story of this woman. Well, that's not the average person they're even looking at right now. The average person they're looking at crossed in the last 3 years are CNN is cutting jobs to embrace the digital future. No, they're cutting jobs because, as I like to say, they suck. CNN is undergoing a significant restructuring, planning to lay off about 200 employees, which constitutes approximately 6% of its workforce. This move is part of a broader strategy under CEO Mark Thompson to pivot towards a digital-first approach, focusing on expanding digital subscriptions and reducing costs from traditional TV operations. Wait a minute. Didn't they already try the CNN subscription service, which failed miserably? Which, if you truly have compassion for trans kids, you would allow them to all go through puberty, because 90% of kids who think they're trans change their mind once they go through puberty. That puberty is the fix for most of the problems. But you guys want the medicalization of kids and sterilization of kids and medical and surgical altering of kids who can't make that decision at 12 years old or 13 years old. Diablo asks, why is it when I try to show empathy and concern, people always misconstrue it? Last time I asked someone if their mom at least got a good check from the clinic that botched the abortion. Oh! Oh, God. Damn it, AD. I think you just need to find a gentleman.
Stand by. The program will begin soon.
I would be willing to bet everything I own that submitting a 22-minute video montage that shows the most egregious acts of violence you can find from that day, when the defendant in question is on that video for only 6 seconds and the scene walking calmly, is highly prejudicial and a violation of the defendant's due process rights. The person was found guilty and sentenced to 19 months in prison. Now, it took 2 hours to read through all of the documents that were in the case file. Every motion submitted by the defendant was denied. Every motion by the defendant was denied. How often does that happen? And every motion submitted by the government was granted. They turned a trespass misdemeanor that would have resulted in a $50 ticket into 5 misdemeanors and a felony charge by charging the defendant with a statute that would have required the Secret Service to rope off the section he was in, which they did not. They also charged him with a statute that would have required them to prove Mike Pence was in the building at the time he walked through that corridor. He was not. And they used an Enron statute that the Supreme Court struck down. If you accept a pardon, you are admitting guilt. Period. That's the because Pardon, you're not guilty.
Whether he can preemptive pardon, whether he can issue. The president's reportedly asking his staff whether he can issue preemptive pardons for himself, his family members, Rudy Giuliani. There's a simple answer: no. No, Mr.
Oh,
that
you
would
can't?
Be a gross abuse
Oh,
of the presidential
it's a
pardon authority.
gross abuse of presidential pardon authority. Well, there you go. You accepted a pardon, Adam Kinzinger. You think you may have committed a crime. Oh, here, J.B. Raskin. Dirty Q-tip. Dirty Q-tip, J.B. Raskin. What else? What did he have to say?
Well, the seeking of pardons is
Yes, it's only on
powerful
one side.
demonstration of the consciousness of guilt. Or at least the consciousness that you may be in trouble.
J.B.
And that's
Raskin.
what's so shocking
Did he get a
about
pardon
this.
also? Wasn't he on
Well,
that
the
committee?
seeking of pardons is...
He was on that committee. I'm curious if you're going to condemn that part. Are you going to condemn that pardon?
You know, Joe Biden pardoned a lot of people. Yeah, he should answer for that and explain.
Lots of murderers, lots of drug dealers, lots of people who killed people, commuted the sentence of a couple murderers. One who, in fact, one drug dealer who people died from taking the drugs that they sold him.
Stand by. The program will begin soon.
The Obama-Aniston rumors have gone wild. Rumors have emerged on social media that suggest Barack and Michelle Obama might be heading towards divorce, with speculators thinking Barack Obama to actress Jennifer Aniston. Those rumors have gained traction following Michelle Obama's absence from Jimmy Carter's funeral and the inauguration, and are based on tabloid stories and social media speculation without solid confirmation from the individuals involved. So far, they're still rumors, and I don't know why people are perpetuating them, but it is kind of fun to perpetuate rumors like that. No one's come out to, out and out deny anything. That's the weird part.
We should just take a deep breath and acknowledge the audacity.
The audacity!
Of a president who's so clearly concerned about his own criminal culpability.
Oh my God, his own criminal culpability and his son's business dealings. I know that they're talking about Joe Biden, aren't they?
And that of his family members.
Like the boy asked, are cats really soul suckers? Yes. Yes. That's why I'm not into cats. Dogs, man. I'm a dog guy. Avocado Stably, is there an aisle in the grocery store that is less objectionable to have sex in? Where do you come up with this shit? Dude.
Has done something no person in the world has ever done before. A dead man, a dead politician has risen.
Yes.
Somebody who 4 years ago at Davos, he's buried, a dead.
And I wonder how many people at Davos have been funding Donald Trump's demise that has failed. I wonder how many people at Davos, again, let me say it again. I wonder how many people at Davos have been funding what they had hoped would be Trump's demise. I bet you there's a few of them there. And it didn't work, did it now? Didn't work now, did it?
Politically known to me. He's now returned. This is the greatest comeback in political history of a politician. And then, therefore, he thinks he can do anything.
At the end of the show, every day on my show, if I put something on the screen or I'm talking about it or it's a topic or an article that I'm presenting in this show, I provide links to every single thing that I've talked about and even more, the ones I didn't even get to, I drop them in the chat at the end of the show, and also I drop them in the description. So if you want to find these articles, they will be in the links at the end of the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only P-Dog Night.
Well. There's an actual filibuster going on in the Senate. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as P-Dog Night on the internet. And welcome back to the P-Dog Night channel, where on the Senate floor right now, there's this filibuster going on. Apparently, Cory Booker has got his panties in a bunch about something. And I'm not saying whatever he has in his panties in a bunch for is wrong, right, or whatever. I just don't know what it is. And he's trending along with the term Spartacus because, well, I don't know if you remember that incident. But anyway, yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on. And my feature today is a criticism of the Trump administration. So it happens because, like I said the other day, they got to be careful with what they're doing and get things right. And so we're going to find out soon enough whether or not they got this one right. This is the thing that people are talking about. This supposedly father of three got deported along with some of the other some of the gang members, and they're saying it might have been an administrative error, but there's some details that we got to figure out first. And so we're going to talk about that amongst many other things, but of course first we got to say hi to the troops. But even before that, Avocados Diablo coming in hot with the small bullet in the tip jar. You are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day so far, with the 223 in the lead. Avocados Diablo says, I was just randomly browsing through YouTube earlier, and I came across a video with a title like, quote, impossible German math problem. Can you solve it? End quote. I scrolled down to the comments and one said, I assume the answer is millions of dead. Oh my God. And I just said, oof. Yeah. Yeah, there are some conspiracy theories about that, but I think there's enough evidence that it actually happened, people. And there was millions, well, not just Jews either, gypsies and gay people, whatever. They supposedly ended 10 million some people, and some said that the math don't math, but according to how many people you had to kill, blah blah blah. No, I know they weren't denying it. Oh, they were just joking because. I'm not going to even go. I'm not going. The answer is always 9. Anyway, that's brutal. Anyway, let's say hi to everybody first in the chat today. Of course, it's the first of the month, so of course, good old Rabbit made an appearance. Yeah, way to go, Rabbit. I don't know why you got 80s music. You're getting all those things.
You are so dumb. You are really dumb.
Anyway, Rabbit out in front today. And then, of course, good morning, Avocados Diablo, who, wait, what? I don't know why that happens. Every time Rabbit comes around, he steals your music, AD. I don't get it. It's terrible. And if you're not familiar with Rabbit, which is supposed to be Rabbit, at the first day of the month, the first thing that should be coming out of your lips, and you wake up in the day, the first thing you should say is Rabbit, and you'll have a good month, which my drama teacher used to tell us that one, and she was really big on that. And there's a couple other people I knew that are really big on the rabbit, not rabid rabbit, but rabbit, 2 rabbits twice in a row. Anyway, good morning, Kara Soldier, JB, Tyre, Alexander, the Scourge. Also, good morning. Somnambul Nation, roasted opinions in the house. I think that we need to ask for a law making ghost job postings illegal. Wait, a law making ghost job postings illegal. I believe that is fraudulent, especially if the personal data collected is monetized by the company. Oh yeah, I'm all for that. I just happened to see that when you wrote that earlier, and so I made sure I mentioned it. Good morning, also Aaron Meredith. Who else is here? Anybody? My favorite Canadian Jaeger ponies in the house. Good morning. Tyler F. What up? Good morning, also to Johnny Boomer Tech over on the board. BB Luminous and people, I guess, are slowly coming in. I don't know what's going on here. Where is everybody? There's 19 people here. That's a start. 8 likes though. That is not a start. So fix that. Hit the like button. Share the stream. If you haven't clicked the link at the top of the chat and gave out "Let's go," please do that now before I shut it down. Shut it down. Shut it down. Thanks to the people who have shared the show though. Including Somnambul Nation tweeted out the show, which I've already reposted, and gave me a Kermit the Frog "Let's go." Wait, why isn't it going? Here, there we go. Kermit the Frog doing that. What is that? The Carlton dance from. Anyway, Kermit's doing the Carlton dance. Then also, thank you, JB, throwing a samurai out there. Looking kind of scary. That's a samurai, right? Thank you, Kev Dog with the LFG, Man Squatch. People who retweeted the show, Tyler F, Jaeger Pony, JB, and, whoops, what happened there? And, well, it went somewhere. There it is. Where the hell did it go? Good Lord. Okay, well, I see. It's more people did it. Resolute Germ and Somnambul Nation, and also a new Ric Flair gif. Woo! A requisite Ric Flair gif. Thank you. And that's too cute. A seal and a puppy getting on. That's sweet. Thank you, Reaction Puerto Rico. And good morning, John Arnott, by the way. And then we got a little Triple H "Let's go" from Resolute Germ, the daily wrestling themed GIF. So there we go. Share the stream, do all that you're supposed to do, and make the world better. Because and I suppose good morning, Reaction on Puerto Rico also. So all right, so there you go. That's the "Let's go" so far. I'm taking it. I'm unpinning it because we'll put something else up there that's even better. I guess. Here, we'll put the Streamlabs link. That's way better because it's birthday week! Yay! It's birthday week! So drop some coin in the tip jar so P-Dog can go out drinking this weekend. Or something like that. I probably won't go out drinking. My birthday's going to be super mellow this year just because. All right. Shall we get into some news? Because that's what we do here. For trending topics. Oh, of course, the trending. No, it's not. I'm not. Are you calling me Hitler? Hello, Green Badger Outdoors. Are you what? No, me. It's my birthday week. Wait, is today? No. Wait a minute. Hold up. Wait a minute. It's not, is it? Is that what the hell? Celebrity birthdays today. Let's see what celebrities have birthdays. Nathan Fillion, whoever that is. Paulie Perrette, wasn't she on CSI? Quentin Tarantino, Holiday Granger, Gloria Swanson, Brenda Song, Michael York, Elizabeth Mitchell, Hideko Takimi, Fergie from the Black Eyed Peas, Ann Ramsey, Talisa Soto, David Jansen, and Courtney Ford. So some pretty out there birthdays. Oh, it's also is it Reese Witherspoon? No, that was from a week ago. Anyway. So, wait, those aren't even from today. Those are from March 27th. Today's April 1st. It's April Fool's Day. That's trending too. Who the hell? Why are we? What the F and L? How about, let's see. Celebrity birthdays. Here you go. Cristiano Ronaldo. No, that's February 5th. Where is April 1st birthdays? Nobody's born on April 1st. I suppose it'd be kind of foolish. Today's the 1st, right? This is sad. No one put up celebrity birthdays for April 1st. All right. Fuck it. We'll skip the birthdays. It's also April Fool's Day, of course. And so here's some good advice. Trust nobody today. And then April Fool's Day has lost its true charm ever since Trump lost office. Oh, a little Trump derangement syndrome. April Fool's Day. Oh, here's one. Trump administration should make April Fool's Day a national holiday because it so accurately represents who they are, according to James Carville. Yeah, well, James Carville, who so accurately predicted the current political situation in the United States. Natalie Danielson, tell your crush you like them today. If they reject you, you can just say it was April Fool's joke. Follow me for more tips. Okay, never mind. Jake Tapper reading April Fool's tweets. Okay, don't get it. We should just cancel April Fool's this year. Ain't no prank topping reality. Oh, fuck all y'alls. I don't care. All right, who cares? And then let's see, what else? Autism Awareness Month. It is now, April is Autism Awareness Month. I'm surprised there's not some, I'm sure it's also, transsexual bikers on acid month too, because you always have to have a LGBTQ holiday every month. But anyway, it's Autism Awareness Month. So time to set some things straight about autism. This is a thread. What people think autism is, what it looks like in movies, what autism actually is. Sensory sensitivities, including extreme sensory anxiety when overstimulated, social and communication differences, social interaction are often challenging and draining. Anxiety when routines are disrupted, struggles with transitions. I'm not going to make the joke. Repetitive movements, also known as stimming or self-stimulatory behavior. Repetitive behaviors like eating the same foods and wearing the same clothes every day. Uncomfortable giving eye contact, but not necessarily unable to give it. Intense and often restricted interests, sometimes referred to as special interests. Difficulty consuming and retaining information that is not of interest. Rigid thinking, for example, can have strong feelings about how to interpret and follow rules. Taking things literally and having a hard time with subtext and unwritten rules. For some, difficulty understanding expressing emotions, which is called alexithymia. For others, extremely capable of expressing emotions. And then in some, autistic people express emotions so well that they're criticized for being overly emotional. Meltdowns as a result of unmet needs. Some are visible, many aren't. Hyper empathetic for some. Difficulty with empathy for others. Exceptionally good attention to detail and high accuracy when completing assignments or work tasks. Often analytical and extremely good at understanding complex concepts. Able to maintain deep focus and concentration when the topic of interest. Excellent long-term memory and recall capabilities. Creative problem-solving abilities due to unique thought processes and perspectives. Honest to a fault and extremely trustworthy. Loyal and extremely generous friend. Has a beautiful mind and a beautiful heart, deserving love and support. So that's that's editorial. But anyway, so there you go. I guess I'll put that one as that thread as a separate link too. If you're it's probably fairly accurate of what describing autism, but. Yeah, so in fact, I know there's a guy at work who's autistic, and a lot of those descriptions actually do describe him. But he's a great guy, and but he just has a hard time relating to people, talking to people. Doesn't make eye contact, but is extremely efficient at work, and we appreciate him very much. So good morning. A couple more people showed up. Darren Root, good morning. Amazing Disgrace is in the house, and that's that it. I think I said everybody else. If I didn't, you can yell at me later. Thank you, Avocados Diablo, dropping another small bullet in the tip jar. Still the Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. And AD says, seeing as how autists get diagnosed as trans so much, Autism Awareness Month sounds like a workaround to get a second Trans Awareness Month. Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, that is so accurate. Thank you, AD, by the way. A lot of the people who, especially with kids who end up being pushed into the trans world, a lot of them are just autistic. That's a pretty common, a common diagnosis. Unfortunately, lately, now that that's become such a, such a trend. I'll just call it a trend because I don't, there's no way that all of a sudden all these kids are trans. It's like kind of ridiculous how they've skewed the world to that, to that outcome. So, So anyway, thank you, AD. Good morning. Also, Willie Will stay around, and Rick Ashbringer's in the house. Good morning. Next, we've got. That's the thread. Okay. The Myanmar earthquake. Oh my gosh, devastation. The hashtag Help Myanmar Quake is trending. In fact, it says the world right here. Someone says to the world, we need your help. Emergency aid for Myanmar. Let's just do this. Our country, Myanmar, is facing hardship from all sides. We suffered a civil war, flooding, and earthquake. On March 28th, a 7.7 magnitude earthquake happened. Over millions of people are losing lives and homes due to natural disasters. Due to the collapse and damage of the buildings, people were stuck underneath the buildings, but rescue operations are delayed due to insufficient manpower and equipment. A lot of civilians from Mandalay, Sagaing, and Pinyima, and Bogo and Inle Shan State still need help to save their lives. On top of that, the junta continues to conduct the airstrike over civilians. Till now, there are over 3,000 dead bodies reported. We need your help and let the world know what we are really facing now. We need the world to hear our voice. We need the world to see what is really happening in Myanmar. So I'm sure there's relief organizations you can donate to, but be careful. You know how things are. There are people out there scamming you somehow. Here's a particular rescue operation where they found some children from Mandalay or something. So this is amazing that they're getting these kids out of this collapsed building. Easy for you to say. So they pulled 3 kids out so far. Here's a 4th. Anyway, you get the point. There's plenty of lots of dead people. Not good. And they have their flag at half-mast. This is not an April Fool's joke. Oh my God. Oh, AD. Anyway, emergency aid for Myanmar is also trending. I mean, this is crazy. Looking at this road here, I'll read that in a second. It looks like the earth just opened up there. So typical of an earthquake. So thank you, AD, dropping another small bone in the tip jar, saying being trapped in a collapsed house is not the worst thing that can happen. At least they are not homeless. Oh, yeah. Oh boy. YouTube Translate says they're saying, why didn't you say rabbit? I don't know. Anyway, all right. That's going to be something. The WNBA is trending. Not because they're playing yet, but apparently people are clowning the WNBA for posting this yesterday on WNBA Trans Day of Visibility. And in fact, here that they said, today and every year on March 31st, we observe Transgender Day of Visibility. We honor the strength, courage, and resilience of transgender people and the transgender community. We see you, we stand with you, and we will continue to support you. Well, I'm looking forward to having some transgender players in the WNBA. In fact, I think Dwayne Wade, Dwayne Wade has a son who identifies as transgender female. Dwayne Wade should just throw out some heels and just go play in the WNBA for a while since he's not. I don't think is he still in the NBA? I don't even know. But I think a lot of retired NBA players could extend their careers and make the WNBA way more exciting by just transitioning and joining the NBA. But some people are very critical of this. Riley Gaines says, I've never seen an organization more committed to self-imploding than the WNBA. Well, especially when you have some of your, and one of your new top players, what's her face, Angel Reese, talking about striking because they want to be paid more. The WNBA lost $40 million last year. Clay Travis, who certainly probably is going to make fun of this, says, we need a man playing in the WNBA. Not kidding. Organizations like this need to bear the consequences of their absurd positions. Yeah, I can't say I disagree. Let's see. Olivia Miles of Notre Dame is playing this perfectly. Get that NIL bag, which is way more than WA rookie contract. And by waiting a year, the WNBA will have a new collective bargaining agreement that likely will increase WNBA rookie deals when she comes out. Okay, that says someone she's not going to go in the WNBA draft. I guess she's eligible, but she also has a year of eligibility at Notre Dame. She's one of the top players there. So anyway, yeah, I'm not. It's just one of those things. If you're a WNBA fan, this is not going to bother you at all. Until I'm waiting again, though. I'm waiting for the first transgender player to play in the WNBA, and hopefully it's somebody good, like really good, that just dominates the league, and then maybe they'll shut the fuck up about that. Moving on, also trending, MasterCard is trending. Now, there's some people very angry at the company MasterCard for a couple reasons. One, apparently, let's see, this is, someone says, the U.S. struck again, banning all military programs in South Africa. Well, okay, what's that do? It's time to cut all ties with America. Blah, blah, stop buying from any store with its origins from America. Stop using American products. Canada is leading the way. This one says stop using X. Stop buying Kellogg's, Coca-Cola, Kleenex, KFC, McDonald's, and most of the medicines which your GP prescribes. Most importantly, stop using your Visa and MasterCard to pay for anything. But do be sure to get a brain implant before doing anything above. Okay, that's someone saying that South Africa should boycott anything American. But the people who are really, really mad at MasterCard right now are people who have been trying to buy Lady Gaga tickets. Apparently, there's some mix-up there. Well, okay, for some reason, let's see. Something about Lady Gaga. Let's see if we can figure this out. Fuck ticks, because people who are supposedly getting on this pre-order list using MasterCard apparently didn't read it real carefully and aren't able to get their tickets, their pre-order tickets. And so a lot of people are just mad as hell because they couldn't get their Lady Gaga tickets. The people out at the timeline complaining they joined the MasterCard pre-sale without a MasterCard and now can't buy tickets. You slow hoes will be the end of us all. So yeah, that's what it was. So there was supposed to be a pre-sale from MasterCard, and people were trying to get to the pre-sale of tickets. I know this is boring, but it's just funny to me. They were trying to get pre-sale tickets for Lady Gaga, something to do with MasterCard, but they didn't have a MasterCard, and so now they're mad because they can't buy tickets because they didn't follow the pre-sale. They didn't read the small print on the pre-sale MasterCard program. Yeah, you have to have a MasterCard to do it. The other business news with MasterCard, however, apparently breaking, payment giant MasterCard says it wants to enable 3.5 billion cardholders to move Bitcoin and crypto. So they want to be able to use MasterCard to purchase and sell things using cryptocurrency. So that's interesting. So let's see, how original. You invest, but turn around and worship. I mean, what? Okay, I don't even know what that is. So anyway, Lady Gaga tickets through MasterCard pre-sales are upwards of 450 pounds or euros. Oh my God, in Belgium, I guess. So anyway, so that's MasterCard's all over the news. There you go. Next is the Beatles are trending. And this is interesting for a couple of reasons. And I'll let me explain what's happening first. Apparently, there is a new movie series about the Beatles, a 4-part film, 4 films together, all four films about the Beatles that are coming out in April, right? Which is April's always a good month to promote something Beatles-esque because the Beatles made their American debut in April of 1964. In fact, it happened to be this week, April 1964, and I know this because it's the year that's when I was born, that the Beatles had 5 hits, 5 songs in the top 10 of the Billboard charts, with the number 1 song being Can't Buy Me Love. Okay, I just know that because that's Beatle trivia. One day I looked up the number 1 song on the day I was born, and 5 of the top 10 songs were Beatles songs. Okay, because that's when they made their American debut. But here's the problem. This is probably a movie that is completely and solely in the interest of boomers and Gen Xers. I mean, yes, there are Beatle fans who discovered the Beatles later, or younger people who discovered the Beatles, whatever. But this is, I'm not, and by the way, it's four movies. It's four, almost 2-hour, it's a 4-film cinematic event directed by Sam Mendes coming in theaters this month. And then these 4 guys are playing the Beatles. I don't, whoever, whatever. But what's fascinating about this, and here's the funny thing about it. There's a great meme here. Theater owners, here it is. Theater chains, after being told they're going to have to run 8-hour screenings of the Beatles. It's like a fucking miniseries. It's like a Netflix small short series about the Beatles. And I'm just thinking, really, are there that many people interested in a 4 separate Beatles movies? It's like binge. Yeah, someone says all 4 Beatles biopics will release April 28th in theaters. The first bingeable theater experience. Who? And that's the first comment. Who wanted this? That's what I'm wondering. Who asked for this one? Because look, as your resident boomer / Gen X or cusper, no. I'll wait till it comes out on Netflix and maybe I'll watch one of it, and if it's even remotely interesting, I might watch it. But I don't know. I just don't get it. Anyone thinking about seeing this? Hello, Midnight Next, who says, I hate the Beatles. I like their early stuff, but everything after is arrogance. Yeah, they were pretty arrogant. And by the way, thank you, Avocado Diablo. Again, dropping the tip in the chip jar. Another small bullet says, Avocado Diablo says, speaking of Ticketmaster, I learned yesterday that they make money every time the ticket gets resold, not just the initial purchase from them. So they are basically profiting off scalpers and bot farmers who resell them. It's funny you should mention that because there's more news in that kind of realm. And in fact, it's why Kid Rock is trending. And yesterday, the president, now I'm going, why? Yesterday, Kid Rock joins the POTUS in the Oval Office for the signing of an executive order to crack down on unfair ticket scalping. And like I said, there are times when I agree with the president. Most of the time, I don't understand the point of this. And then also, I'm just wondering why Kid Rock's standing next to him dressed like that. Here, let's just play this little clip that the White House posted. Sorry, full screen there. Here we go.
Yeah, anybody it doesn't matter your politics. First off, thank you, Mr. President, because this has happened at lightning speed. I know you I want to make sure Lena Haba Alina Hoppa gets her credit too, because I know she worked very hard on this, but thank you for making this happen so quick. Anyone who's bought a concert ticket in the last decade, maybe 20 years, no matter what your politics are, knows it is a conundrum. You buy a ticket for $100, by the time you check out, it's $170. You don't know what you can charge for, but more importantly, these bots, you know, they come in to get all the good tickets to your favorite shows you want to go to, and then they're relisted immediately for sometimes a 400 or 500% markup. And the artists don't see any of that money. And, you know, ultimately, I think this is a great first step. I would love down the road if there would be some legislation that we could actually put a cap on the resale of tickets. And I'm a capitalist and a deregulation guy, but they've tried this in some places in Europe, and it seems to be the only thing that's us as artists be able to get the tickets into the hands of the fans at the prices we set. I'll be the first one to say, and I know the president doesn't like when I say this, but I'm a little overpaid right now. It's kind of ridiculous.
I can see that.
You know, a hero to the working class people and have them be able to come attend my shows and give them a fair ticket price. I can't control that right now, so hopefully this is a step to really be able to make that happen.
All right, so my problem with this is if they're going to do it, it would have to be legislation, first of all. But second of all, is this like rent control too? I don't know. Granted, there is a problem with concerts. Especially the resellers drive you nuts. And like you said, you go buy a ticket to a concert, it's X number of dollars, and sometimes it's 150 or 50% more to do 150% more once you check out with all the fees and stuff they add to it. And the only people who make money on it are people like Ticketmaster, which Avocado Staley just brought up. Good morning, by the way. Special can asset on the honorable mention list of favorite Canadians. You are there. And GDSOB's in the house. What's up, man? So anyway, now it's funny because someone's bitching because of what Kid Rock was wearing. Harry Sisson's back. Oh my God. He's under this little scandal where he was getting asking for nudes from a bunch of chicks on the internet. Remember when MAGA complained about President Zelensky not wearing a suit in the Oval Office? This is what Kid Rock wore earlier, and suddenly MAGA is silent. False equivalence there, dickbag. False equivalent. Boy, these motherfuckers love their false equivalencies. This isn't a meeting between world leaders. This is Kid Rock, a artist that is signing for an executive order. This is the dumbest shit. I can't believe this idiot wrote that, but I can believe it. And I'm sure the Krasensteins will write the same thing, and some other dickbags will write the same thing. But I'm sure that many artists, regardless of their feelings for Trump, probably agree with this action. I don't know if I do or not. As much as I agree that ticket prices work too much or are too much. Is it anti-capitalist to regulate the tickets industry? I don't know. I want to see what some people reply to Harry Sisson is, because I'm pretty sure his little asking for nudes thing is probably going to come up here. Let's see. Are you saying Zelensky was also wearing a costume? Here's a good one. Was Kid Rock begging for billions of our dollars? No, he was not. So if you're going to come begging, put a fucking tie on. Vernon Jones, he's not a president. Why don't you run and hide from the CJ? Why do you run and hide from CJ Pearson? Oh, they don't have that. Natalie Daniels said, that's a suit. Well, it's kind of a suit. Funny how a hoodie was disrespectful, but a fringe leather jacket gets a pass. MAGA dress code seems to depend on the playlist. What are you talking about? A hoodie? Look, I'm going to guess that most artists agree with it, but because Trump did it, they'll be saying, fuck Donald Trump. So anyway, that's why Kid Rock is trending in Ticketmaster. Moving on. Cory Booker's, okay, now I said this earlier. Cory Booker's trending because apparently he's doing a general filibuster over Donald Trump and breaking Fox News. Well, here's the Daily Krasenstein. Breaking Fox News is melting down because Democrat Senator Cory Booker has been speaking on the Senate floor for almost 13 straight hours now, criticizing Trump's ridiculous policies with no signs of stopping anytime soon. There are more bad things to say about Trump, apparently. So here's what he put as a clip of Fox News melting down. Let's see what the meltdown sounds like.
To anyone?
Nobody.
So he just wants national
Maybe
attention.
he has a few fans.
Well, there are a couple other senators who occasionally ask him questions, and he yields the floor. But by yielding for a question, then he still controls the floor. This is not a filibuster, by the way.
So here's what did you miss last
night?
night?
Does this sound like a meltdown?
Dumb decision to sleep.
I rise with the intention of disrupting the normal business of the United States Senate for as long as I am physically
I'm still waiting for the meltdown.
I rise tonight because I believe sincerely that our country is in crisis. We are not solving the deficit in what they're proposing here. They're cutting and cutting and cutting things that make no sense to cut. And they're doing it for tax breaks which disproportionately go to the wealthiest.
All tax breaks go disproportionately to the people who pay the most taxes. If you have an even tax break for everyone who pays taxes, the rich who pay the most taxes will get the largest tax break. That's the dumbest fucking argument anyone ever makes. No shit. If there's let's say you have an even tax break across the board for all taxpayers, everyone gets a 5% tax break. Well, the people who pay $20 million in taxes are going to get a larger dollar amount tax breaks than the people who pay $200 in taxes. That's just math, you dumb motherfuckers. I'm sorry. That bugs the shit out of me. I hate that.
Placing tariffs on our biggest trade partners is beyond unfair. This drives...
Our biggest trade partners have tariffs on us. It's matching. Maybe they'll eventually negotiate the trade tariffs out. I don't know. Or maybe more American companies will bring their business back to America. Sorry.
The cost of goods up and the consumer is the one who ends up paying the increase. Even with universities got too woke and had too excesses, the antidote to that isn't to try to shut down the thought of the left. It's to try to make a fair, more competitive marketplace for ideas from all around the political spectrum.
How would you do that?
I mean, there's just several things.
Does this sound like a meltdown? Oh my God, they're melting down. Listen to them. They're just screaming and crying and having conniptions over Cory Booker's filibuster.
Running on the tax cut for the rich.
I'm sorry. He sounds like NPR, broadcaster. The tax cuts and this and that and then.
Not true, and most Americans understand that, and they believe that under the past administration.
This is a meltdown?
Donald Trump had his first
Where's
term,
the meltdown?
that they got a tax break. They know that to be true. He also talks about the university campuses. So you're going to side with the people that are blocking the Jews from going to class right now? That's not going to work with the American people. And just over the talking points. If you want to get...
Okay, so that's what Ed Krasenstein considers a meltdown. Let's see, at 6 a.m. on the East Coast, Senator Cory Booker has been holding the floor for 11 hours. That's a while back. So anyway, this was from yesterday, 11 hours ago. Senator Cory Booker has taken the Senate floor and vows to keep speaking tonight as long as he's physically able. Booker is now doing it to draw attention to all the dangerous executive actions Trump has taken the last 71 days. I gotta say, most of the Americans who voted for Donald Trump, it's what they voted for. Now, granted, there's some mistakes that they've made that, we need to keep in mind. Unforced errors, but I'm still. By the way, here's a live shot. Did he take it down? Oh, Spartacus is trending because that's apparently his nickname. Cory Booker started a marathon anti-Trump speech on the Senate floor, vowing to speak as long as he's physically able. Democrats are searching for ways to lift their sagging approval numbers and believe Spartacus droning on against Trump and Elon all night can help. Here's the Cory Booker actually has the live Senate floor. Or live in the Senate floor. Let's see what's going on right now.
Did
this finally end?
What this could mean if we continue?
Hang on a second. Did he finally end it? Because it looks like, oh God. Pocahontas, not Pocahontas, but with an F. Pocahontas is in here. This was live, but apparently, did he end his time? And he's been yielding the floor to ask questions.
I just want to be brief with mine. You've talked a lot with great passion about.
So when he yields the floor, he still holds the floor
domestically. As chairman of the Intelligence Committee, now vice chairman, I have been aghast at the sloppiness of this administration, time after time after time, in terms of their treatment of classified information. First 2 weeks of the administration, strangely, a couple hundred CIA agents' identities were revealed on a non-classified chain. These probationary employees, means new employees,
who can be fired for any time,
spent a couple $100,000 on each of them. You got to get a security clearance.
Okay, so this is him when he's yielding the floor, but I'm not going to. It's not. Apparently, it may not be going on anymore. Thank you, Avocados Diablo says, I say let Corey speak for as long as he wants. Every minute he speaks is a minute Congress cannot screw us over somehow. Oh, I am fully on board with that. I am fully on board. Cory Booker, I hope you can talk for the next 27 days for all I care. You can, if you effectively shut down the government, that's, yeah, like you said, that'd be 27 days that the government isn't taking more asinine positions and taking more money out of our pockets. So anyway, a lot of people celebrating Cory Booker's filibuster. Let's see. In fact, here is a couple articles. Cory Booker aims for a Senate filibuster record, 24 hours, 18 minutes, set by by what? By who? By who? Was it? I thought it was by Civil Rights Act opponent. Wasn't that? Who's the Ku Klux Klan guy? Was it? Let's see. Let's see. Who has the records filibuster? Okay, this is a crap article. All right, we're not going to use that one. Anyway, I'm curious if he's still going. Let's see if we can find if he's still going for a second. Let's open a YouTube channel here and see if there's the Senate. U.S. Senate Live. Is he still going? Looks.
If they can advance.
Oh, that is Pocahontas right now.
For billionaires and billionaire corporations. They're just trying to grease the skids here for the billionaires to get even richer and ask the 73 million Americans who rely on Social Security to pay for it out of their own hides. So the question I have for the senator from New Jersey is, when Elon Musk and Donald Trump are determined to try to use a backdoor way to cut Social Security benefits, A, are they acting legally?
They haven't done that.
B,
that's not what they're doing.
Put a stop to this.
Yeah, amen. Amen. You know, Reverend Warnock was here earlier and was preaching and quoting.
So they're basically
scripture,
doing this to an empty Senate chamber.
Are preaching a gospel of truth, my friend, from a civic gospel that speaks to the
So this is their
concerns
stunt
of the American hope and the American dream and the American Constitution, because you and I both know the answer to the question. I have to say, for folks who are watching,
well,
she is a
me
great
and a couple other
from
people.
Massachusetts, but she used to be a professor in New Jersey. She was a Rutgers professor.
Yeah.
I was listening to her.
Yes, she was their first Native American professor at Rutgers University.
CFPB, when she was fighting so people would not be taken advantage, was establishing the first ever agency whose sole purpose.
Okay, enough of that. Anyway, so Cory Booker's filibustering right now. I'll leave that link to where they're got it live on. Oh, I don't want to put MSNBC's link though. Fuck them. Let's see. Steven, is there anyone like C-SPAN who has it?
And what did Donald Trump and Doge do?
Let's go to tell you
To an
what,
institution that we set
live now
up
from
in Congress
Fox. We'll just put the AP's link to it. Are they still
set
live?
up in Congress in a bipartisan way.
All right. There you go. If you want to watch that later, I might actually watch it when I get home, if it's still gone this afternoon. But the chat on here is pretty extensive. It says lots of people putting up their little blue hearts. To me, it's hilarious. There are 26,000 people watching it. I'm sure a vast majority Democrats on the AP. So there you go. Cory Booker going after it. All right. Other things trending. Wisconsin. Don't forget there. If you're in Wisconsin, you know somebody from Wisconsin or whatever. There is a Supreme Court justice election today. Tell your friends to get out and vote. There was a clip here of a debate between these two, and did I save it? I don't know if I did. Breaking: Scott Presler is calling on the RNC to file a lawsuit to extend voting hours in Wisconsin. Thousands of voters in Wisconsin do not have power after the major storm this weekend stopped the steal. Oh, that's not good. Here and then, red alert, power outage. Thousands of Wisconsin voters are still without power in north central Wisconsin. Of course, guess where that? Probably in north central Wisconsin is a Republican stronghold too. RNC, let's file a lawsuit extending voting hours on this very important region. Wisconsin voters head to the polls today. Remember that. Oh, and this is someone who doesn't like Elon Musk. As Wisconsin voters head to the polls today, remember that Elon Musk spent more on this race than any other billionaire. So you admit other billionaires have spent money on this race. I bet George Soros' organizations have probably spent more money than Elon Musk. Now, so this is a rare, and if they haven't, it's a rarity because Open Society Foundation, which is George Soros, loves to spend money on district attorney races, on Supreme Court races, on judge appointment races, because they know that they can manipulate everyone through the law. So there you go. Scott Presler has just packed the GOP office in Milwaukee with patriots who are fired up. Scott Presler is an absolute nonstop machine. We have to win Wisconsin. Vote for Brad. I don't like this. Like I said yesterday, I cannot stand the fact that voting, that getting Supreme Court justices in a state becomes a political exercise, and that people are campaigning for people to be those judges. Those judges should only have one, should only be loyal to one thing, and that's the law. So it's really crazy just to watch this happening. In other news, let's see. Let's go down a little rundown of some news articles here. Democratic Senator thinks average middle America is too dumb to find Greenland on a map. Yeah, Chris Coons. Well, let me just. Connecticut. Is he from Connecticut? I think this douchebag.
My Republican colleagues say, "Oh no, he's just negotiating. He just throws stuff out there." But he's the president. And he's threatening a NATO ally.
Listen carefully. Wait for it.
It's insane.
Wait for it.
It's unmoored. And we could spend all of our time huffing and puffing about how ridiculous it is. But look, your average Trump voter laughs at us and says he's owning the libs. And your average middle American says, why are you wasting your time worrying about Greenland? I can't even find it on a map. The challenge is that the Danes, our close NATO allies and partners, are angry, upset, and offended. So are the Canadians, the largest export and business partner for my home state and most home states. So it does have real consequences. He is threatening the NATO alliance. He's threatening our closest allies. It does have real-world consequences. But we have to focus on the two issues that I said were the main issues for the Democratic Party and working Americans.
So I am personally confused about with the big push for Greenland, other than the minerals possible there and maybe strategically. But the idea, oh yeah, see, they're too dumb to find Greenland on a map. Shut the fuck up, you elitist bitch. Anyway, in Breitbart, appeals court has denied Trump administration request to enforce the military transgender ban. This is great. Again, this is a policy decision. This is not a legal decision that the court should be stepping on, but apparently they have. The United States Appeals Court rejected a request from the Trump administration to be allowed to enforce its ban on transgender identifying individuals serving in the military. The Trump administration filed an appeal with the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit. It's the Ninth Circus. After the U.S. District Judge Benjamin Settle issued a preliminary injunction putting on hold the military's new policy of identifying and discharging any transgender service members. Its appeal on Settle's ruling, the Trump administration asked the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit to put the ruling on hold. According to the outlet, the Trump administration appealed. Okay, that's the same thing. Let's just move on. The rejection of the Trump administration appeal was issued by Judges Wallace Tashima, John Owens, and Rupali Desai. Tashima was nominated by former President Bill Clinton. Owens was nominated by former President Barack Obama. Desai was nominated by former President Joe Biden. So they're not going to put a hold on the prior judge's ruling. So it's going to have to go to the full circuit, possibly. So they rejected the appeal. So we'll see if that continues to go forward. I don't understand why the court has even a jurisdiction on this, but when you end up in the Ninth Circuit, that's not surprising that that's the ruling. Here's a crazy article, totalitarian insanity. Apparently a preschool child has been suspended for being transphobic. A 3 to 4 year old, a child between the ages of 3 and 4 was suspended from a British state school 2 years ago after being accused of being transphobic. The Department for Education, that would be over in Great Britain, Department for Education data show the child, aged either 3 or 4, was suspended from a state school in the 2022-2023 academic year for, quote, abuse against sexual orientation and gender identity. This is from the Telegraph. It beggars belief that schools are suspending children as young as 5 for breaching their transphobia policy. I would have thought if your ideology is so rigid it justifies you punishing toddlers for not complying with it. That's a powerful argument for discarding it in favor for something less dogmatic. Lord Young, the director of the Free Speech Union, told the media outlet, which added that statistics show that 94 pupils at state primary schools were suspended or permanently excluded because of transphobia and homophobia in 2023. So they're suspending kids for that. Hello, shrapnel, by the way. It's insanity. This is J.K. Rowling's. This is totalitarian insanity. Again, if you think children should be punished for being able to recognize sex, you're a danger. Wait, if you think small children should be punished for being able to recognize sex, you are a dangerous zealot who should be nowhere near kids or in any position of authority over them. Yes, exactly. So that's a fucked up story. Also in Breitbart, Rashid. This is Pramila Jayapal, aka Madam. And do you understand that joke? Why I call her Madam? Remember that doll with the chin that stuck out 18 feet? Representative Pramila Jayapal, a Democrat from Washington, on Monday said on MSNBC's The Rachel Maddow Show that she is training Americans to help take down a potential dictatorship of President Donald Trump. Oh, they're having resistance training. Oh, yes. At her resistance lab training, she said, it appears that the Trump administration is willing to ignore judicial decisions. And so that brings us to you in this room. It brings us to the people that is really the bulwark, the wall against the crumbling of democracy. Well, it seems like he's abiding by most of these judges' decisions, isn't he? I mean, the only one he didn't follow. Yeah, Waylon and Madam. When you see her from the side, she has a chin of Madam. Anyway, so apparently they're training people how to resist. She said, yeah, I mean, what we decide is that we really need to help Americans understand what happens when democracies fall and when dictators take over. Well, we haven't had that yet. We've been pretty complacent in America. We haven't had to really deal with this in any real way. And now I think people need to understand what are the lessons from other countries and working with experts who have studied democratic backsliding in countries around the world and the resistance movements that emerged to take on democratic backsliding. Well, again, I could have sworn we had an election that put these people in, and he has a 52% approval rating. So I'm just curious. But yeah, we don't want it. We don't want a dictatorship either, Jamila. All right. And then this one from PJ Media. There's something suspicious with these Tesla protests, and it's this. You too can be reimbursed for up to $200, and all you have to do is protest Department of Government Efficiency Chief Elon Musk from the comfort of a Tesla dealership. It isn't clear whether the offer from the left-wing Indivisible project covers the cost of spray paint, keys, or bail, but money is fungible. So wink, wink, nudge, comrade. The Indivisible project can reimburse groups for eligible expenses associated with your Musk or U.S. or us actions up to $200 per group per congressional recess, the group website reads, followed by a link to get the reimbursement form. So this is where it comes from. Natalie Winters posted this. Resource link, event reimbursement form. The Indivisible project can reimburse it can reimburse groups. I wonder if I could just make up a group and go to the protest with a picture and say that the picture is of the group, and then I could get $200 from the Indivisible project. I'm curious. So anyway, yeah, they're giving up. They're paying people to protest. They're reimbursing your protesting expenses. Yeehaw. Breitbart. Apparently, the police have. They've arrested a 70-year-old Trump hater who purposely struck a Musk supporter with a car at an Idaho Tesla protest. Oh, good God. 70-year-old man has been arrested and charged for aggravated assault after allegedly striking an Elon Musk supporter with his vehicle during an anti-Tesla rally outside a dealership in Meriden, Idaho, according to local law enforcement. ABC News reports that on Saturday, approximately 30 people gathered outside a Tesla dealership in Meridian to protest against the company's CEO, Elon Musk, and his role in the Trump administration's federal job cuts. The protest was overshadowed by a counter-protest of about 200 individuals. Welcome to fucking Idaho. They had 30 protesters and 200 counter-protesters. According to the Meridian Police Department, as a 49-year-old counter-protester arrived at the scene, Christopher Talbot, 70, of Meriden, allegedly made an obscene gesture toward him before striking him with his car. The police reported that the victim who had been driving a truck displaying pro-Trump flags had just parked and exited his vehicle when Talbot hit him. The counter-protester sustained non-life-threatening injuries and drove himself to a nearby hospital after the incident. So again, I bet you won't get a Charlottesville bump like for this. The 70-year-old man purposely tried to run down this dude. And then Breitbart News recently reported on a viral case of Tesla vandalism that is representative of the large and escalate wave of violence, domestic terrorism against Tesla and Elon Musk. So there's multiple incidents in that particular report. But yeah, will we get maybe it's because the Trump supporter did die, and so that we won't get that constant Charlottesville reference. Will Meridian become the new Charlottesville for the left? For the right to use against the left? Yeah, probably not. And then just let's see. Lots of people. Okay, let's get into this is the main topic today. Now, and it's kind of a mixed topic because I'm laughing because MS-13 is trending, and so someone put this up here. Leave MS-13 guys alone. They have children. So this is in reference, and this is trending. What else are the other topics? Salvadoran prison trending. Abrego Garcia, a gentleman named Kilmar Abrego Garcia is trending because he is one of the people who got transferred to the prison in El Salvador. And the latest news is apparently 17 more foreign gang terrorists have been deported to El Salvador, which we talked about yesterday. Rubio posted this yesterday. Last night in a successful counterterrorism operation with our allies in El Salvador, the United States military transferred a group of 17 violent criminals from the Tren de Aragua and MS-13 organizations, including murderers and rapists, okay? And then in the New York Post, Trump administration deports murderers, child molesters, and drug dealers in latest flight in El Salvador's hellhole prison. So they sent a handful of these people to El Salvador. Hi, Kay Shaw, by the way. Good morning, Kirsten. Now, the problem is this man named Kilmar Abrego Garcia is one of the people who got sent. And this is where it becomes a little murky. Now, the piece I posted up in the thumbnail up here is this one. But in Monday's court filing for the government, wait a minute. But in Monday's court filing, attorneys for the government admitted that the Salvadoran man, Kilmar Abrego Garcia, was deported accidentally. Although ICE was aware of his protection from removal to El Salvador, Abrego Garcia was removed to El Salvador because of an administrative error. The government told the court. Trump lawyers said the court has no ability to bring him back now that Abrego Garcia is in Salvadoran custody. Okay, so so it sounds like the Trump administration may have made a mistake, but it's a little murky. But the thing that the people on the left are saying is that they deported this father of three. They deported a father of three who was here legally or may have been here legally, okay? Again, someone says, well, that sucks. Mistakes happen. Trump lawyers said that they have no ability to bring him back now that Abrego Garcia is in Salvadoran custody. I'm sorry, what? Now, not everyone, the reason I say it's murky, let's find the post by Julie Kelly. So she says, let's take a look at the full brief, the court record for Maryland father Abrego Garcia. Last week, his attorney asked the judge for a hearing on a temporary restraining order without the government present, which is odd. The attorney also admits the court can't order Trump administration to return him. So this is it. Plaintiff Kilmar Armando Garcia. This is for the hereby move this court for an emergency ex parte temporary restraining order, restraining defendants from continuing to financially support his further detention in El Salvador and ordering defendants to request that the government of El Salvador return him to their custody. In support of this motion, the plaintiffs respectfully represent as follows. As set forth in the complaint and evidence attached here too, plaintiff Abrego Garcia has an order from the immigration judge prohibiting defendants from removing him to El Salvador. So that's the defendants is the Christie Noem and the U.S. government. Defendants could have sought to rescind that order and reopen removal proceedings, but they did not. Instead, defendants removed plaintiff Abrego Garcia to El Salvador with no legal process or observance of required legal procedures whatsoever. Not only was plaintiff Abrego Garcia removed to El Salvador in direct violation of federal law, but to make matters worse, defendants are paying the government of El Salvador a sum of money to incarcerate him in the infamous CCOT prison, where he is being subjected to torture and an imminent risk of death. Well, the imminent risk of death, not necessarily. Those prisoners are not at any imminent risk of death because they're so strict that they don't allow them to do anything. They can't fight amongst each other, whatever. It's pretty nasty prison, but the Salvadorans really don't mess around with those prisoners. But that's beyond the point. This action was filed Monday, March 24, 2025, less than 48 hours after the undersigned counsel was retained. This temporary restraining order request was filed the same day. Here, this court admittedly has no jurisdiction over the government of El Salvador and cannot force that sovereign nation to release plaintiff Abrego Garcia from prison. But because that government is detaining plaintiff at the direct request and pursuant to financial compensation from defendants, this court can order defendants to immediately stop paying such compensation and to request that the government of El Salvador return the plaintiff Abrego Garcia to their custody. That is all plaintiffs ask for this court order as emergency relief. So they've hit a snag as far as bringing him back. Now this is interesting, though. Calling for a request for a secret hearing without presence of the government is unusual. The judge denied the request. He held a telephone conference and set a brief schedule because they tried to do this without the the defendant being present. Now, where's the one, I had the one explaining that there was actually some kind of confirmation. Here it is, The Atlantic. And okay, here it is. So The Atlantic says an innocent Maryland father was deported in error by ICE in the government. Abrego Garcia is a confirmed MS-13 gang member cited as being a danger to the community. The left said absolutely nothing when Biden facilitated a mass invasion at our border, criminals, blah, 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 blah. Well, now, here's where this comes from. So J.D. Vance had talked about this, and he made a mistake the first time he wrote it, but he corrected it, and here it is. Because Kyle Cheney, let's see, who's a journalist, says Vance here mocking John Favre, whatever that dude's name is, for not reading the court filing, says the deported man was a convicted gang member. The court filing does not say that. It says he was denied bond in 2019 over an informant's claim that he was an MS-13 gang. It was an MS-13, not a conviction. J.D. Vance counters that with Kyle Cheney, as a legal affairs reporter, is apparently unable or unwilling to look at the facts here. In 2019, an immigration judge under the first Trump administration determined that the deported man was in fact a member of MS-13. He also apparently had multiple traffic violations for which he failed to appear in court. A real winner. It is telling that the entire American media is going to run a propaganda operation today, making you think an innocent father of three was apprehended by a gulag. Here are the relevant facts. The man is an illegal immigrant with no right to be in our country. An immigration judge determined he was a member of MS-13. Because he is not a citizen, he does not get a full jury trial by peers. In other words, whatever due process he was entitled to, he received. And then he shows this. Respondent contends that the forum, blah, 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 in this case erroneously states that he was detained in connection with a murder investigation. He also claims that the I-213, whatever that is, it internally contradicts itself as to whether the respondent fears returning to El Salvador. The reason for the respondent's arrest given on his form does appear at odds with the gang field interview sheet, which states that the respondent was approached because he and others were loitering outside of Home Depot. Regardless of the determination of the respondent, the determination that the respondent is a gang member appears to be trustworthy and is supported by other evidence in the record, namely information contained in the gang field review interview sheet. Although the court is reluctant to give evidentiary weight to the respondent's clothing as an indication of gang affiliation, the fact that a past proven and reliable source of information verified the respondent's gang membership, rank, and gang name is sufficient to support that the respondent is a gang member, and the respondent has failed to present evidence to rebut that assertion. So, here's my issue today with this whole, well, actually a lot of things the Trump administration is doing right now. It is so incredibly important while they do many of these extraordinary things that I fully support. And I'm sure many, a vast majority of Americans support so much of what they're doing. And even people on the left with the Doge things and the government efficiency, right? It's so important that they get these things right. And this going back and forth with okay, he was a gang member, but on the other hand, the government's saying that sending him was could have been an administrative error, sets a terrible tone, in my opinion. They've got to get it right every time. If you're going to send someone to that prison, you have to get it right. This is like if you send someone to death for something they do and then you find out later DNA evidence says they didn't do it. That's not good. We don't want putting people to death for things they didn't do. And same with this. Now, what Vance advances here, no pun intended, is documentation that this guy was actually deemed to be a gang member in a court proceeding. I don't know why I did that. And so now we just had to determine if there was some reason that he wasn't supposed to go back to El Salvador. Maybe what if his restraining whatever thing that was the order that he doesn't go back to El Salvador was because he didn't want to go to El Salvador because he knew they'd put him in prison for being in that gang. I don't know. But we need to be diligent to making sure we're getting things right. And that's, I guess, all I have to say about that. We have to get it right. Period. End of story. All right. Now, here's again. The innocent man is a confirmed MS-13 gang member, is cited being a danger to the community. Now, here's what this person puts this. On March 19, 2019, the Department of Homeland Security served Abrego Garcia with a notice to appear charging him as inadmissible pursuant to section blah, 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 blah of the United States Code as an alien present in the United States without being admitted or paroled or who arrived in the United States at any time or place other than designated by the Secretary of Homeland Security. During the course of his proceedings, Abrego Garcia remained in ICE custody because the immigration judge with the Executive Office for Immigration Review denied Abrego Garcia bond at a hearing on April 24, 2019, citing danger to the community because the evidence showed that he is a verified member of MS-13 and therefore posed a danger to the community. The IJ also determined that he is a flight risk. Abrego Garcia appealed, and the Board of Immigration Appeals upheld this bond decision in an opinion issued on December 19, 2019. So he was determined in a prior hearing to be officially a gang member. So, as you go through these, did they get this right? They probably should. They probably did. But then why did they make the statement about this being an administrative error? Now someone says, if you're a tattooed Latino who wears Chicago Bulls gear, the U.S. government might accidentally deport you to be tortured in El Salvador hell prison without due process and then claim you have no way to get you back. Again, most of these people are citing an article in The Atlantic, which dubious always, but still. But again, if they, in a court filing, the Trump administration said they had mistakenly deported a Maryland father to a notorious Salvadoran prison due to administrative error. Again, you give them this. You give them this if you don't get a very clear statement about, or are not able to give a very clear statement about anyone that you send in that manner. It has to be, you have to get it right. All right. Let's finish up here with just a couple other news items. Well, just one left here, and I have time to do it. How about that? FBI whistleblower who was pushed out under Biden wins a battle to publish documents that ended his career. Federal Bureau of Investigation agent who was forced out for refusing to sign off on a warrant into a right-wing domestic extremist group has won a fight to unseal documents related to that case. Zach Schofstall, a former supervisory agent and the FBI Salt Lake City division, was forced out of the FBI during the Biden administration for not going after the Patriot Front organization. Oh, no, please. I want to know who those guys are. I want to know. Anyway, Empower Oversight, a group that represents whistleblowers, filed a motion to request the government unseal the warrant. After 90 days, the government finally acquiesced and released the document. Schofstall said the only information redacted was the name of the supervisory agent. 31 members of the group, Patriot Front, were arrested after protesting an LGBTQ event in Idaho and charged with conspiracy to riot in 2022. That's a weird charge. Did they riot? I mean, conspiracy to riot? I've never heard of that. Now, I fuck those guys. I think they're a bunch of feds, but charged with conspiracy to riot. Why have we not got that FOIA information on those assholes? Anyway, the U.S. Attorney's Office in Idaho and the FBI pressured Schofstall to sign off on the warrant, but he refused. The government attempted to find agents who would comply, including one without knowledge of the investigation, he previously told the Daily Caller. Schofstall pushed back, and it cost him his career. FBI agent was ultimately dismissed from the agency after refusing a federal warrant into a right-wing domestic extremist group. The Biden DOJ wanted to crack down on domestic terrorism and hate crimes. However, the agent told the Daily Caller, okay, let's see, we'll post this. This is fascinating because I don't think these guys are serious. Serious for one. However, the agent told the Daily Caller that when he brought two potential hate crimes to the Idaho U.S. Attorney's Office, the agency declined to prosecute both cases. What? Okay, wait a minute. The DOJ wanted to crack down on domestic terrorism and hate crimes. However, the agent told the Daily Caller that when he brought two potential hate crimes to the Idaho U.S. Attorney's Office, the agency declined to prosecute both cases. We're talking about Patriot Front here. The story begins, this is from last year. The story begins in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. During the Pride in the Park event in June 2022, 31 Patriot Front members were arrested and charged with conspiracy to riot. The USAO, the U.S. Attorney's Office, and ShotStep's executive management tried to pressure him into giving the warrant to an agent without knowledge of the investigation. After he refused, Schofstall was removed and transferred to West Virginia to work in the Criminal Justice Information Services. Idaho's U.S. Attorney was looking to appear to be in good graces of the DOJ. U.S. Attorney Josh Hurwitz, who was nominated by Biden, attended a Boise Pride event in December 2022. Hurwitz reportedly told Schofstall that one of his priorities as an attorney for the District of Idaho would be combating hate crimes. Schofstall told the Daily Caller he notified the USAO of two potential hate crimes. So he notified him of two potential hate crimes. In one instance, the white male allegedly assaulted a black man with a knife and used racial slurs. In another, a Hispanic man was allegedly punched by a white man using racial slurs. So why wouldn't they have prosecuted those? The U.S. Attorney did not prosecute him. The U.S. Attorney's Office declined to prosecute both cases. Schofstall later informed Hurwitz about the potential hate crimes. He said, I wasn't aware, but I was more thinking we would do some conferences and so forth on the hate crime issue. So why would they decline to prosecute the Patriot Front guys? No, punch someone and racial slurs. But why aren't they, if that's what they're there for? Patriot Front, you know those assholes, right? The guys who wear the matching khaki and whatever stupid shirts and whatever, and they cover their faces. Every time we see them, someone yells, "Those got to be feds. Those got to be feds." Why wouldn't they prosecute these guys? Something they quickly realized they couldn't charge these guys with a federal crime, but I think the facts would indicate that they wanted to make the appearance that they were leaning heavily into this and they were going to do something about it, but they didn't. That's the thing. What is going on? So anyway, this guy, Schofstall, who got reassigned and then eventually fired, Oh, wait a minute. The warrant requested search of electronic devices of the Patriot Front members. The affidavit supporting probable cause obtained by the caller created tenuous connections between the protesters and the riots in Charlottesville. Oh, everybody's favorite event to reference, and the Capitol building and the Capitol on January 6, 2021. So they're trying to tie these Patriot Front people to those two events. It attempted to tie Patriot Front to the 2017 Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville. The riots resulted in one counter-protester being killed and multiple people suffering injuries, which of those multiple people, some of the people at the Unite of the Right rally were the ones who suffered injuries. The FBI document claims that the now disbanded Vanguard America eventually became Patriot Front, which was not created until after the rally. James Fields, who drove his car into the counter-protesters in Charlottesville, was carrying a shield with Vanguard America's logo during the protest. Vanguard America denied he was a member. The George Washington University program of an extremism notes that Vanguard America splintered after Charlottesville, with member Thomas Rousseau, who led the group's march in Charlottesville, creating his own organization, Patriot Front. So this is an actual guy from Charlottesville. The affidavit also pointed to training videos on Patriot Front's website as evidence the group was potentially preparing for violent conflict, deeming them military-type drills. The document also brought up the events of January 6, 2021. The affidavit pointed out that the Patriot Front protesters carried shields at the LGBTQ protest, and that shields were also used as weapons by rioters at the Capitol. Well, Hitler drank water, and so did Putin, and so did Macron, and Mussolini, and Winston Churchill, and Donald Trump drank water too. In Schaafstal's declaration, he pointed to an email sent from the FBI's counterterrorism division concerning Rousseau. The email said that an FBI investigation found Rousseau stated he did not want to participate in violence and reprimanded members who did, even kicking them out of the organization. FBI CDT communication led Schaafstal to believe that the Bureau was aware of Patriot Front's distasteful but constitutionally protected protest activities and the efforts by its leadership to prevent and avoid acts of violence by its members, his declaration noted. A summary for FBI executive management stated Patriot Front was formed for lawful First Amendment activity. The group subscribes to racially motivated violent extremism ideology, but is not formed for an unlawful purpose. A June 16, 2022 summary sent to Schaafstal read. Schaafstal, however, was inevitably pushed out of the Bureau for refusing to go after the group. Okay, so he was in favor wasn't in favor of going after them because they hadn't done anything illegal yet. Said, I also believe that the FBI, DOJ, and U.S. Attorney's Office knew what they did was wrong and they had misled the court with their affidavit. I believe they sought to keep this affidavit from the state criminal case discovery process to both deny me an attempt to secure a copy and to prevent legal and public scrutiny of their affidavit. So he's just trying to get himself... he was probably doing the right thing, and they wanted him so bad that they were willing to bend the rules a little bit, and he said, no, we're not going to bend the rules. So you can read the rest of the article on yourself. Plus, I got the aggregator out here, but I think that's it, guys. It's time for me to go, so let's just let's end this thing. Thanks, everyone, for joining me today on the Morning Night Live. As always, I greatly appreciate you being here. I am going to drop these links in about 10 seconds or more. Or less. There we go. Copy. There we go. Here are today's links from the show, and I will drop those in the description. That's it. Got to go. Thank you for being here. I'll be back tomorrow for Hump Day and all that other stuff. So, got to go. My name is P-Dog Knight, and I am out of here. Bye-bye. Have a great day. P-Dog Night, and thanks for watching today on the P-Dog Night channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm P. Dog Knight, and I'm out of here.